the war on Twitter between Kenyans and Ugandans, especially what Kenyans are saying in regard to the thread by the son of President of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni. We are also following up for you the Ebola outbreak in the neighboring Uganda and what authorities here in the country are doing, preparations that are ongoing to ensure preparedness, especially at the border counties. On the political arena, Parliament resumes today, and the National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula faces a litmus test on the ruling over the majority side. But right now we start from Nyeri County, where the funeral service of the late brother of our Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is ongoing, and my colleague Clement Masombo is there with the latest. Good morning to you, Clement. Has the service begun, or what do we expect?
Good morning to you. We are here coming to you live from Mathira, where the burial ceremony of the late Jack Rigathi, that is the brother to the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, will be laid to rest today here at his home in Mathira village. And just to speak that the services are yet to start, but people are walking in, and we are also expecting that all eyes on, as far as the political leaders will be focusing here, because we are even expecting the President William Ruto. He will also be attending this particular funeral. And remember, Jack Rigathi Gachagua is a man who has been eulogized as a leader, as a person who greatly contributed to the society, and dying at the age of 70 after a very short illness. Though he has been unwell, he has been undergoing some medications, but before he died, he just collapsed abruptly at his home here before he was rushed to Jamii Hospital in Karatina, where he was pronounced dead. And to speak about Jack Rigathi, I want to engage some leaders here who are from this particular constituency of Mathira. Thank you so much for joining us. We are here to mourn the death of course, to lay to rest a man who has been eulogized as a great man who had a very great contribution to the entire society in Mathira and in Nyeri County. What will you remember Jack for?
First, I would say that Jack Rigathi is among the few people who are so philanthropic, you know? And the people who have really ensured that the society moves forward, and therefore, as we mourn today, we remember him for his great contribution towards the building of so many churches around this place, and educating so many young, bright, needy students around this area and Mathira constituency at large. We also remember him for the great support he offered the late governor, Rigathi Gachagua, and if you remember, the current Deputy President, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, His Excellency, he was educated by his late brother Jack, and therefore is something that we are all proud of because we understand his contribution to our society. We understand we appreciate his contribution towards Kenya by the fact that he educated Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, then the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, and now today we are having him as our leader. It's something that we appreciate him for, and we are so grateful of him, and we know that where he is in heaven, God is going to give him a good place, and when we get here, we are going to celebrate again with him, and also remembering his family today, his wife and his son Kelvin. We are asking God to give them courage during these trying moments, and the larger Gachagua family, because we know that it has been quite tough moments for them. Just 3 months ago, we laid his other elder brother who passed on, and today we are seeing him. We are seeing him off, and therefore it has been a challenging moment for the Gachagua family. But we are asking God to give them comfort, to be with them, to give them the peace of mind, and to help them walk this journey along as a family together, so that at the end of the day, they are going to make sure that they leave the legacy that has been left behind by the late Jack.
And we also understand that President William Ruto is also expected here. Speaking politically, maybe what should the residents of Nyeri and Mount Kenya, or even Kenyans at large, expect?
First, agreeing is that His Excellency President William Ruto, is a friend of this family. Not once, not twice, not thrice, not fourth. He has always been here when there have been such kind of challenging moments, and even moments of happiness. And therefore, we are welcoming him here, and we are so proud that today he will set his foot here as the President of the Republic of Kenya. It's something that we are looking forward to see him. And what we are expecting is that maybe he'll come with some goodies, but we appreciate at Mount Kenya. You see the number of members of the cabinet that he gave Mount Kenya region. It seems that he is living up to his aspiration and his promises that he told us that once we vote for him, he's going to reward us immensely. And we are seeing that, and we are happy for him. We are not going to give ultimatums. We're expecting that we are working this as a collaborative friendship in terms of this administration. And having Rigathi Gachagua as the deputy president, we are confident that the two are going to deliver and that the two are going to work hard, not only for Mount Kenya people, but for the for the Republic of Kenya as a general. And therefore, we understand. We also understand the challenging moments, economic hardships, the hunger that is biting the Republic. And we are asking the people and our people to be a little bit patient to ensure that this government makes its effort to ensure that tomorrow is better and we are moving forward as a country, and that we are going to get out of the economic hardship we are having. We have found ourselves in as a country. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us on KTN News. The president is a friend of this family, a friend of the people of Mount Kenya region at large. As he comes today for this particular burial, what should the people expect from him?
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to address the Kenyans and most of the mourners who have come to bereave with the family. The president is a friend of Nyeri, is a friend of Mount Kenya region, is a friend of Kenyans. So number one, first and foremost, as you saw, as he nominated his cabinet, you could see that he has great regard to the people of the mountain. And that is why out of the 22 cabinet ministers, about 8 or 9 of them came from the entire mountain region. So we expect him to probably come today. Kenya is having an issue with a drought. We expect him to mention something about that. And when we say about drought, I come from Kieni. Kieni is already one of the counties, one of the constituencies that is having people who are hardly affected by, much affected by the drought. So we expect him to mention something about that. And more so because one of the campaign promises were about the dams that were to be constructed in Kieni. We also expect maybe probably he may mention about it, because we know that one of the ways to mitigate drought is by ensuring that our people have water, and so therefore probably he may mention something to do with the dams. Yesterday he mentioned about GMO. We expect him now to come and explain to Kenyans and to the people of Nyeri how the GMO seeds will affect them and how they will improve the farm input of the greater population of the country. Yes.
All right, thank you so much. Of course, even as the president comes for this particular burial, the expectations from the people of Nyeri are quite a lot, considering that this Nyeri County, a section of Nyeri, was also declared among the areas that have been hardly affected by the ongoing drought that has affected over 23 counties in arid and semi-arid areas. And of course, also expecting a lot of goodies from the president, considering that he gave them some promises during the campaigns, and they are expecting that, of course, he will be addressing the same, even as we lay to rest Jack Rigathi. Over to you.
Much for that update. A lot activity happening today in Nyeri County, where the late brother of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is expected to be laid to rest, and the residents, they're expecting President William Ruto to also attend with their various expectations. It also will be interesting to see how the Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, will navigate the issue of the majority in the House, considering that President William Ruto and also Azimio presidential candidate Raila Odinga have claimed that they have majority, but politically the Kenya Kwanza team has the majority because they had signed some agreements with the Azimio affiliate parties like UDM, but Azimio maintains that they did not follow the due process. To get the diary, the political diary today, I'm joined by my colleague Kariuki, who is at our city studios, right now at our city studios to just tell us what we expect as our parliament resumes today. Good morning to you, Dan Kariuki.
Right, good morning to you, Purity. And you've said it right. Today we are going to be concentrating and looking into what is going to be happening at the National Assembly as well as the Senate. We are talking about the majority and minority. Who are the majority? That's a big question. And that's what the Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, will be doing. Away from that also, as you are aware, Purity, before any sitting in the National Assembly or in the Senate, there is something we call the order paper. The order paper most of the time is generated by the House Business Committee. So apart from the ruling on the majority, also they are going to be coming up with the names that are going to be forming the House Business Committee. That is the one that usually generate the order of the House, or rather the order paper. That's what the members of Parliament use to know how the proceedings in the chambers will be happening. And so they are also going to be looking into that. The House Business Committee also, it's going to be happening in the Senate, the House Business Committee also. And again, there is the powerful Parliamentary Service Commission, also the names that are going to be in that commission. Remember, there are usually 7 of them, and both coalitions, the Azimio and the Kenya Kwanza, are going to be giving their names that are going to be forming that commission that is usually headed by the Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, who is going to be, and also the majority and minority leaders of the houses. And we are going to be looking at also the committees that are going to be coming up. Remember, some of the committees have been split into 2 and others into 3. We are going to, like the Public Investment Committee has been split into 2, and also the CPIC has been split into about 3 committees. We are going to be looking at the number of committees that that will be formed in both houses, that's the Senate as well as the National Assembly. We are also going to be looking at the motion on the president's speech, the inaugural speech that was issued last, or rather that was the address that was made by the president, William Ruto, on Thursday when he officially opened the House. There is a law that is going to be happening, but the majorly is on the majority. Who are the majority? Is it Azimio or the Kenya Kwanza? And you will recall that the Registrar of Political Parties, Anderito, had written to Moses Wetangula and in fact said that legally, even PA, that is headed by the Senate Speaker, Amason Kingi, as well as Maendeleo Chapchap, legally are still in Azimio. That was the communication from the Registrar of Political Parties, and we are going to be looking forward to that. That is what will be forming the basis of our stories in the political arena this morning, Purity.
Keenly be following up, especially when Parliament resumes, and how it's expected to be a Solomonic wisdom there on the part of the National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula, right? And aside from that, on what's trending, my colleague Caroline Obuya is ready. Good morning to you, Caroline. It's on Twitter. It's Kenya versus Uganda affair. I'm not sure what's happening with the son of the president, Yoweri Museveni. He has been tweeting and even claiming that the East African community will be one country. So disturbing, because we also see some senior leaders. We saw them yesterday saying that they expect the Uganda's ambassador to Kenya to also be summoned. What's going on?
Very strange statements coming from a very senior military officer. We are not used to seeing this, not in Kenya, not in other East African countries. When the military speaks, they mean business. So Yoweri Museveni's son, Muhoozi, I can't pronounce that well, that name well, but let me try to pronounce it. He's called Lieutenant Muhoozi Kainerubaga, if I pronounced that well. So he went yesterday, he went on a Twitter rant and sent out a series of tweets that were very disturbing, very uncategorical of a senior military officer. Remember, he's a commander, land commander, Uganda People's Liberation Party, something like that. So he went out and put a series of tweets, and Purity, if I can read some of the tweets, like this one. My only problem with, he started like this: my only problem with my beloved big brother, that is Uhuru Kenyatta, is that he didn't stand for a third term. We could have won easily. That was one of the tweets. If I can read another tweet: the borders that were established by colonizers mean nothing to us revolutionaries. Nairobi, apostrophe. That was another tweet. Another one, Kenya and Uganda are brothers. The most important political question in East Africa is how soon do we unite? Africa will need East Africa needs one president. Another tweet, it wouldn't take us, my army and me 2 weeks to capture Nairobi. Those are just a few of the tweets that Muhoozi sent out yesterday, tweet after tweet, and affirming that yes, this is my Twitter handle and these tweets are coming from my handle. So Kenyans were all over Twitter, and not just Kenyans, but we also had leaders from Uganda coming out and weighing in, giving their sentiments about this very disturbing tweet that, interfere with, the stability of a country. So we had responses from some of those we had some of people who were supporting Muhoozi and said, like, Muhoozi is spot on, and we should eliminate boundaries, East African boundaries. There should be free movement. We should have one state, an East African state, and so where we are one nation, nationally, socially, and politically. And of course, East Africa should have one president. So, and then those Kenyans sought to remind, Muhoozi that this is Kenya and it's not Museveni cows. So they told him, no, thank you. Your father has been in power for 35 years. Please go back, review your constitution. Kenya has a solid constitution. It's not the same as Uganda. And we also had others saying that we had a leader, Kizza Besigye, if I can read. Kizza Besigye is a well-known Ugandan leader, and he says, history repeats itself, ? Uganda's general seeking to control Kenya territory. 46 years after General Idi Amini, it's now General Muhoozi. That's why Kenya cannot take it lightly. President Jomo Kenyatta and his Vice President Arap Moi worked frantically to seek a solution to Idi Amin's threat. Right. End of Kizza Besigye's statement.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
From Kenya, we had Ledama Olekina, who weighed on this statement and said, a man's worth is not determined by what he reveals to his word, but by what he hides from the world. Autoshi Mboga, Jaribu. So, and then we had Senior Counsel Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi. He said, under customary law, international law, this declaration by Uganda's top army general and son of His Excellency Museveni is a declaration on war in Kenya.
All right, so, and Caroline, of course, Kenya versus Uganda, their conversation going on Twitter, but also at home, President William Ruto seemed to have now turned to GMOs in the face of the food crisis, and that has had also another conversation from Kenyans, because remember, GMOs had been banned earlier on, but that ban has been lifted.
Yes, Purity, about the ban on GMOs, the president had a cabinet meeting yesterday whereby they discussed the issue of GMOs and with the cabinet, and what is said informed is decision to lift the ban is that there's an ongoing drought in 23 arid and semi-arid regions in Kenya, and so they need a quick solution to this, and so that is what basically informed the lifting of the ban that happened 10 years ago. It was around 2012 when Kibaki banned the use of GMOs in Kenya, basing it on the issue that there were studies that had been found that GMOs may have contained toxins. When they were used on rats, they found the rats had cancer, which was associated with the consumption of food that was contaminated by, that was contaminated, and so because they had used GMOs, and so but however, they never revealed the reports that that came out of the task force that was put together to look into the issue of GMOs. So Kenyans are asking, how safe is when the president has lifted this ban, of course he's mitigating, he's putting mitigation measures on the drought in the country, but how safe are Kenyans consuming GMOs? So they feel that we have mixed reactions about this whole thing, but others say that if the GMOs is going to resolve the drought issue and the food insecurity in Kenya, so then we need to embrace it and not look at the reports altogether. So basically there are varied reactions, so we wait to see how this is going